Welcome everyone to the Q&A session on Odoo ERP for construction transformation. And to help us understand this better, we have got a very special guest, a seasoned ERP consultant with over 15 years of experience in helping businesses across industries transform the way they work through successful ERP implementations. So whether you are an independent ERP consultant or a part of an IT service firm, this Q&A session will assist you to identify, package, and deliver ERP-driven transformation to your construction industry clients using Odoo ERP. So let's start. So Mr. Prateek, the very first question that I'd like to ask you is, why is ERP crucial for the construction industry right now?
Nishant, thank you for inviting me. As far as construction industry is considered, the ERP was always crucial to them. Probably they did not have option along the lines as the business grew. So construction industry was primarily one of the earliest industries where ERP adoption was required. However, these industries are primarily projectized organization, and that's why they have been using fragmented systems. And the reason for using fragmented systems were because they were located in multiple locations. The connectivity and the communication channels today are quite modern, fast, and real time, but that was not available earlier. So traditionally, they have been fragmented all throughout, and that is why not many organizations who have till today are not that much organized, which also means that there is a serious issue of tracking of cost, material, and most importantly, schedule overruns. Now, once we put an ERP in place, it basically allows us to automate all the business processes and most importantly, centralize these operations, which effectively means that on a real-time basis, you have control over your material, your schedule, your finance, your resources, and so on. With respect to Odoo, this is particularly suited to this industries because we have the possibility to customize and configure according to the size of the industry. And even in construction, you may have different portfolio. The system can accommodate the same because it's modular, it is cost effective, and as I mentioned before, it is built for customization.
Right. So, well, I can surely relate to that, and I can directly say that ERP is just not an option, but it's a survival strategy. Now, coming to my second question, how can I, as an IT consultant, add value beyond just implementing Odoo?
Well, implementation of any ERP, not just Odoo, would require an extremely structured process. What we are talking about here is basically translating the chaos of business into a structured approach and system. We are not essentially looking just for a software. We are primarily looking to solve the business problems. We are looking for a software solution. Hence, as an IT consultant, you need to add layers of advisory. You need to add layers of key performance metrics mapping. You need to plan out the rollout depending on the locations, depending on the sizing. Hence, you are primarily shifting from being a technician to a transformation partner. If we don't do this, we limit ourselves to just another service provider. You may be able to bring the software into the system, but you will not be able to transform the business of the organization or the client. Which is the primary aim.
Right. Absolutely, I agree to that. And if our listeners are hearing right now, then the consulting brands grow when a client says, we just don't get a software, we fixed our businesses. So coming to my third question, which Odoo modules are must-have for a construction company?
Well, these modules or business applications that we're talking about can also depend on the portfolio that you're working on and your target clients. So companies engaged in with government enterprises, may look for planning, estimation, and tendering modules. We definitely need project module associated with it, which be risk management, change management, cost management, project scheduling, resource planning. We will have to have supply chain for procurement and inventory. We will need resource planning and other resources, be it asset tracking, equipment tracking, fleet tracking, human resource management system, and primarily the big daddy, which is the accounting. We'll definitely need all these things.
Right. As per my own experience, I have seen in the market that even one single module can save up to 10 hours a week. And if we imagine what six modules working in synchronization can do. So my other question would be, for example, my client runs a small EPC company. Is Odoo still viable for him?
Well, Odoo is quite scalable in nature, effectively meaning you can start as small as, let's say, a 15 to 20% enterprise with two or three major modules, which are probably your pain areas, or you may need immediate solutions for that. This will allow you to create or start with something and avoid major or enterprise level cost, even going with the vanilla structure, which should be enough. And as the company grows or as the business grows, you can take it to another portfolios, or you can extend the functionalities and configure the system or customize the system as per your requirement. I can very well bet that the real world use cases, even for a small companies, can range between 25 to 30% just by using, let's say, a project or a procurement or an inventory model. It has huge impact right from day one.
Right. What I can get from that is that small clients don't need small systems. Basically, they need smarter systems that can grow with them. And I totally agree with you. Now, my other question would be, how long does it take to implement Odoo for a construction client?
So, not for construction per se, but for most industries, a standard approach, a phased approach would be advisable. Generally, we need around 2 weeks of time for discovering, for requirement gathering and system design. We would need a tentative time of 4 weeks to configure the system, migrate the data that they are currently using. And in case there is a need to customize the system which we already offer, you can extend the time accordingly, maybe 4 weeks, 8 weeks, depending on the time. Assuming there is no customization, we can add 2 weeks for user training, and then go live and hand-holding support, which is required for 2 weeks. Effectively meaning within 3 to 4 months, with minimal customization, you can go live for a core module.
Right. So what I infer from that is that if a client can't wait 6 months for the results, we can basically show them a 90-day plan for quick wins.
100%. Yep.
Now, the other question would be, what are the most common mistakes consultants make when implementing Odoo in the construction industry? Yeah.
Well, the basic pitfall where a Odoo consultant or Odoo implementers fall in is to try to use the modules which Odoo already has and try to use them in vanilla form for the construction companies. However, the demands and the requirements of construction industry can vary from the vanilla application, especially the project management module, which can focus on material handling, while Odoo's solution is primarily time-based handling or task-based handling. So this is one of the major differences which people don't understand because of the lack of knowledge or because of the lack of effort spent to actually understand what the client needs. Also, sometimes in order to make it quite fast, they try to implement everything at once without even realizing the company culture, because change management is a big factor. The software development is still fast, but the actual adoption takes time. Also, they don't consider a lot of users or the end users who are actually going to use the software, instead focusing on people who are probably sitting in headquarters and not understanding what an on-site based engineer or let's say a foreman would do.
Right.
Also, there could be cases of connectivity issues, so you may have to bring in offline capabilities sometimes, or maybe alerts to update the data. You may also focus on training, which is training and especially the handholding part after the implementation is done. And last but not the least, ensuring the data is cleaned enough so that on day one you don't discuss whether data is right or not.
Exactly. So we don't have to aim for a perfect ERP on the day one. We can aim for our main thing, and we can go in a linear progression with it.
Yes, I mean, perfect ERP on day one is a myth. It is a contestable topic because it is practically impossible to bring each and every stakeholder in sync with each other on day one itself. Okay.
Right. So the other question would be, how can I monetize my Odoo solutions for construction clients?
Well, the approach and strategy can be different for different people with different business outlook. But you can build revenue across one-time setup fee if you're looking for a standard solution, which predefines what could be the number of users, locations, localization, amount of data migration. You can add up to custom reports and dashboards, which is quite common in most implementations. Once the implementation is done, you can propose annual maintenance contracts to client, which will add up to support and handholding for their future time. And most importantly, add additional layers of user training sessions, which I believe is constantly required in larger construction organizations. Many times, startup packs can be offered if the client needs confidence, so that he can have the control on the costing or the efforts being spent on the project. Sometimes you can also look for providing simple dashboards and reports, and can upsell into more premium dashboards and support or even features that you may have.
Exactly. The real revenue isn't in selling the software basically. It's more about solving the same problem again and again with a polished factor there. So the other question would be, how do I convince firms using Excel or Tally to move to Odoo?
Well, this is a universal challenge. Most often than not, uh, you need to be able to bring them to a platform and make them understand what they are missing, what they are losing.
Right.
Sometimes the convenience and ease of an Excel or Tally can blind you in the fact that you are probably doing well off even without an ERP systems. But once you meet a consultant who can show them what they are losing by not being able to have an integrated system, not having enough real-time data in terms of approvals, material, and costing, and most importantly, impact of these delays and the actual time spent can really help them take a decision, an informed decision per se. We can also offer clients a discovery workshop or an audit of their current systems, either run by Excel, Tally, or even a third software, and probably create a demonstration or a dashboard for them to even monitor for some days.
Exactly. We don't have to sell the ERP basically. We need to sell the clarity, control, and the cash flow. We need to basically speak about the pain before we pitch the particular solution that is coming down from the Odoo itself. So the next question would be, can Odoo integrate with the third-party tools like AutoCAD, Zoho, or others?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Odoo is built to customize, effectively meaning that the way Odoo is designed, it is expected that you may integrate with a lot of third-party applications. Almost every software company, product-based software company in the world is coming up with some new innovative products and solutions. And it is difficult to say that one software is better than all. So practically you may want to integrate with a lot of applications, which something like AutoCADs or maybe some other design and drawing documents or softwares It could be CRMs like Zoho. It could be project management tools like Primavera. Yes, it is possible. However, I would encourage users to look at all Odoo's capability to avoid these tools. But if absolutely required, then we do have possibility to integrate through REST APIs, because being an open source market, we have the flexibility to do so without any restrictions. Plus, in the market, we do have some third-party apps like Zapier, which allow us to integrate with these applications.
Right, absolutely correct on that point. And even as per my own experience, I've seen that the advanced clients, basically who are ready to pay premium for the connected ecosystems,
Mhm.
for them, we just need to position ourselves as an integrator and not just be like an implementer only, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And lastly, I would like to ask you, what should I include in a strong ERP proposal for a construction client?
Well, presenting your portfolio, past experiences is must, and what kind of change you have been able to bring to your client in terms of transformation, with real deliverables in terms of money, in terms of material, in terms of efficiency, and of course feedback in terms of process improvements as well. You can also highlight what are the current inefficiencies which are part of their current processes based on the discovery that you may have done. You can also map the solutions to different Odoo modules and how you are going to build the solution. Please define in detail different phases and their rollout with specific dates and milestones. Also define what kind of key performance metrics you will be able to observe if the plan goes successful. And last but not the least, you need to define your project schedule, project commercial in case it is tire based, and also define your post launch support, either warranty support and annual maintenance contract as well.
Well, I got that, and I would love to integrate this in my personal, what we say, as the proposals that I create for my clients. And basically, our proposals should make the client feel like we are solving a business problem and not selling softwares, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, if all of these questions resonated with your client conversations or business challenges, you're already ahead of the curve. But don't stop at knowledge. Turn this into insights and into revenue. For any further questions, you can drop us a comment and we'll reach out to you through our support. Till next time, it's adios from my side. And thank you, Pratik, for joining us today and having a wonderful conversation on this particular topic. And I asked you a lot of questions there. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Nishad. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah.